Good evening. This is HNN. The Holotable's news network is your not even remotely close to around-the-clock Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news, reactions, reviews, theory crafting, and more source. I'm Sir Georges, your host, along with my distinguished co-host Celiac Sarah.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I am excited about doing hard mode of Conquest, since at
Yeah,
this point we've had a week and a half of the initial first exhibition normal run of Conquest.
totally.
Before we get
It's
into
been.
it, have you beaten it yet?
I have beaten all of the sectors, like all the boss nodes. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
going back to finish up some feats to get the max rewards.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, it's definitely a learning curve, but we'll get into it.
Yeah. First, let's go over Dark Trooper. We got a new Imperial Trooper
Yeah.
droid Imperial Remnant
What
tag.
is an Imperial Remnant?
Yeah, right?
Like, I feel silly for even asking that. Oh, man.
So that's one of our headlines is Dark Trooper. The other is we've gotten to mess with Conquest. And then the other is that they're making big changes to the challenge pit raid.
Yay.
There's
Maybe.
there's good, bad news that come with that.
Yeah.
I
It's
get
all
why
good.
you say yay, but
I know.
I'm also not I'm worried about it. But we'll get to
I
that. We'll
know.
get to that.
Uh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, Dark
Uh,
Trooper. You want
yeah.
to read off Dark Trooper?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Side note, before I read it, did
Yes.
you notice in game that Baby Yoda is missing?
Baby Yoda from where?
He is in Beskar Mando, you know how he like sits in his little floaty crib thing? It's not a crib, but you know, his little floaty ball.
Yeah.
And he sits there.
In that move
He's
that he
not there
does?
anymore. It's empty.
In that
It's
move that he
empty.
performs?
Yeah, it's just like an empty little dome. He's not there. And like if you look at Beskar Mando in game, he's not beside him anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he in the backpack of IG-11?
I have not looked at IG-11. Um, I only looked at Beskar Mando.
That is interesting.
But I feel like that is so clever. Like you put Dark Trooper in game and then Baby Yoda's gone. I think that's so clever. Anyway, sorry.
So you
I'm
think
getting
that's
distracted.
intentional? You think that's intentional?
I 1000% think it's intentional and like bravo. That is freaking clever CG. Like well played.
Really? Voxen says that Grogu is missing from the cutscenes of the Mando Journey Guide event.
Oh. See, like they knew what was up this time.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think they did this on purpose.
I don't know about that.
I'm giving them too much credit. Okay, let's get into this because I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about it, obviously.
Yeah.
But if somebody does know what an Imperial Remnant
I know what it
tag
is. I know what
is,
it is.
you know what it is? Okay. Can you tell me what it is?
So, remnant, meaning it's what's left over after the
Right.
Great Purge when the rebels defeated Vader,
Right.
Palpatine. So
Okay.
they've made a new tag to represent the remaining forces that are trying to build a new empire from the ashes of the empire.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So therefore,
Yeah.
Gideon, Dark Trooper, any of these agents still at work in the Mandalorian era that
Right.
are still working for the Empire, even though it's fallen, that is now part of this Imperial remnant.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into this. His basic ability is Pneumatic Punch, which deals physical damage to target enemy once for each stack of Dark Trooper squad. This ability can't critically hit unless this unit has advantage. Okay. I assume I'm going to learn about Dark Trooper squad later.
Yes. Think of it as, you know how Droid Battalion for B1, there's different stacks, like you're killing one droid, but there's more droids waiting. It's like that.
Okay.
Like
Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so his first special, Bombarding Reinforcements, has a cooldown of 3. And it's a Zeta. Deal physical damage to all enemies. If Dark Trooper has 3 or more stacks of Dark Trooper squad, Imperial Remnant allies gain advantage for 2 turns. Otherwise, Dark Trooper gains 1 stack of Dark Trooper squad. Okay. Okay. An AoE, and you kind of buff the squad.
Yeah,
you buff your squad, helpful. Or you buff yourself, right?
Yeah. Damage so far.
Okay. Second special, Perfect Soldiers, which has a cooldown of 5. Imperial Trooper allies gain 10% turn meter for each stack of Dark Trooper squad the Dark Trooper has. If Dark Trooper has 2 or more stacks of Dark Trooper squad, Imperial Remnant allies gain offense up for 2 turns. Otherwise, Imperial Remnant allies gain offense up for 1 turn instead. So either way, you're getting offense up if you're an Imperial Remnant.
Yes. Yeah, either 1 turn or 2 turns. And everyone's gaining 10% turn meter for each stack of Dark Trooper squad.
But this is an ability. It's not like a unique or something. Like you have to actually do this.
Yes, you have to activate it.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So his unique is Dark Trooper squad. Dark Trooper has 4 stacks of Dark Trooper squad. 25% of its base max health and max protection is immune to max health and max protection changes and can't be defeated or destroyed while it has more than 1 stack of Dark Trooper squad. Okay, so similar to like a B1, like you were saying.
Yeah.
If Dark Trooper would be defeated while it has 2 or more stacks of Dark Trooper squad, instead dispel all debuffs on it, reduce the number of Dark Trooper squad stacks by 1, and recover 100% health and protection. Dark Trooper has plus 25 defense for each stack of Dark Trooper squad it currently has. It can't be revived and can't be critically hit. How many, it doesn't say how many stacks he starts with.
So
right?
At the start of this unique, it says he starts with 4 stacks of Dark Troopers.
Right.
So what they've done is basically you start off your character, like you look at his his health and protection before the match. He doesn't lose any or gain any. It's just split up over 4 different Dark Troopers. So somebody has to defeat all the health and protection of the first Dark Trooper,
right?
Destroy them before the next one will take its place.
So if he has 100,000 health, each Dark Trooper at the start has 25,000 health.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like a more nuanced version of B1, where instead of just having 1 health and everything destroys him, you're splitting up his health pool. Like you're having to kill the same character at a weaker strength 4 times, and then they're finally gone. So since that's the way it works...
I don't know how I feel about his kit.
Yeah. So since that's the way it works, his first special you did where...
The AoE one?
Yes. So he does an AoE, and the graphic for it is extra Dark Troopers coming in.
Yeah.
If he already has 3 or more stacks of Dark Trooper squad, everyone gets advantage. Otherwise, he gains a stack. So
So,
if
okay.
he's down to 1 or
Oh,
2 stacks and he's about to die, he can gain a stack, which is like healing 25% health and protection. Like it's
and
gaining
that's
an extra Dark Trooper.
and that's the only one that gives him stacks back.
Yes,
So you could never go over 4.
correct.
Okay.
In fact, you start with 4, and you can only gain more if you dip below 2, or if you dip down to 2.
Right. So you start with 4, and then once you dip to 2, you're only going to be back up 3.
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like I would like it more.
Yeah, it's not fancy. I
No.
really like how they made this. This is a new way to deal with the B1 problem of, we want to represent a bunch of these being on the battlefield
Mm-hmm.
without creating a bunch of summons.
Yeah.
So I like that he has health, because it's always annoying when a super weak attack kills B1.
And there's still like 73.
Yeah. But how a weak attack, like only 10 damage, would still take away the
Yeah.
same amount as 100,000 nihilists.
Right.
But with Dark Trooper, you do have to actually take out some of his health and protection. It won't be
Yeah.
just one hit destroys this one Dark Trooper.
Which, I mean, I feel like that makes sense because the Dark Troopers seem to be very, like for lack of a better word, they just seem to be like tanky and beefy. Like,
Right,
so it
yeah.
makes sense that you would have to actually work a little bit to get through them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
not sure how I think about him either. He's basically just a heavy hitter. He's
Yeah.
meant to increase offense, give advantage, and from what I've seen, he deals huge amounts of damage.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I haven't looked into him too much. My Imperial troopers are not good, so he is not going to help me right now.
They're worth it. You got to invest in them.
No, they're going to be my next side project.
They were my single best and favorite squad during Conquest.
I've heard that. I've heard that. So we'll see. I'll tell you what my favorite squad in Conquest is later.
Okay. The Imperial Remnant tag that you brought up before,
Yeah,
they added that. Only 4 people have it. Dark
including Dark
Trooper,
Trooper,
Dark Trooper, Gideon, Death Trooper, and Stormtrooper.
Stormtrooper. I guess. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Stormtrooper would have it.
Yeah.
So they're. I shouldn't say. I mean, there should be a 4th or a 5th to make a full squad.
It'd be nice if there was a 5th to make a full squad. But, and, there's speculation, like maybe they would, since we need a 5th. But I went back and looking at Gideon's leadership,
Mm-hmm.
it just says, something like if you have exactly 2
Yeah,
attackers, 1 tank, 1 support,
it's super specific.
yeah, and 1 other support ally, I think it said,
Yes.
or 1 other Empire ally. So like maybe the 5th one doesn't have to be specific. Let's see, what was it exactly? Whatever it was, it
Mm-hmm.
specified pretty much that you needed Gideon, Death Trooper, Dark Trooper, and Stormtrooper
Mm-hmm.
to make his leadership work. But the 5th one
Okay.
could be anything. So since his leadership sounds that way, It makes me think they left it open ended because they don't have a fifth one that they're planning to release.
I'm trying. So Gideon, Death Trooper, Stormtrooper, Dark Trooper. And I think it was like 2 attackers, 2 support, and
Yeah,
a
2
tank
attackers, 2 support, in a tank.
So Stormtrooper would be your tank.
Yeah. They might. Actually, looking back, maybe I was wrong. Maybe they will bring in another character. But I don't know of any other character from The Mandalorian that could be another Imperial Remnant ally.
I'm trying to think of one and I can't. Not that we've met yet.
Right.
Oh well.
And then with the tag, to make it not entirely useless, they improved a couple of these characters a little bit to give them some Imperial Remnant stuff within their kit.
Mm-hmm.
So Gideon is the same, I believe. He just
Oh,
has,
didn't they change Stormtrooper?
yes, yes. I think Gideon's the same. Stormtrooper now, as part of his Zeta on his unique, before it would just give defense. Now, each time he takes a turn, all Imperial Remnant allies are getting 20% bonus protection up
Every time he takes a turn.
every time he takes a turn. And it lasts 1 turn. So there's no stacking it. There's no like trying to make him go quickly and give more to allies. But that's kind of cool. That is helpful. I like being able to a little bulkier.
I've heard good things about Stormtrooper at Relics. Basically, that he's a brick wall.
Yeah, yeah. I believe
so that makes it even better.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he would get it himself as well.
Exactly.
Because he's an Imperial. Well, dang.
Exactly.
They're definitely my next side project.
They're fun. And this Imperial Remnant tag helps make a second Imperial Trooper team.
Yeah, because you would keep those ones together.
Right. And then Death Trooper got a minor buff. Before, his basic would only attack twice if you were fighting a rebel. That's who your target was.
Mm-hmm.
But now, if the leader for your team is Imperial Remnant, which is the only one we have is Gideon, every time he'll do a second attack with his basic.
And his basic is good.
It is. It is good. It is.
Man, good. I have too many projects. I feel like I'm missing out.
Troopers are worth it. Troopers are the one you want. Troopers are the way to go. Join the Empire.
I do need to focus on my dark side.
So what do you think? What are your impressions of Dark Trooper?
I like him. I think he's interesting. I don't know why I thought I would be more wowed by him.
Because he looks so cool.
I did think, because that must be what it is. It's just that I feel like I don't know. I feel like he would fly away at some point during the match, and he doesn't.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like he should get to escape from battle if he's the last one standing, because they just into the sky. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on my troopers and play with that proper Imperial Remnant squad and see what works.
Yeah. Yeah.
My troopers are bad.
They are. Okay, let's go over the changes to the pit raid.
Yeah, because that'll be super kind of quick, maybe. maybe.
Let's go over Conquest first.
Okay.
So
because we're like a week and a half into it.
Yeah, Conquest will be our That's No Moon, our big topic we talk about. And then the bantha in the room can be the changes.
I was thinking you would make that the bantha in the room. I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you done Conquest?
I'm done with Conquest, yes.
We've got like what, 4 days left of it? Give or take, something like
4
that.
4 days left. Let's do top 3 things we like and top 3 things we dislike.
Okay.
So what is the number one thing you like about Conquest?
I like that I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. It feels like it's the right mix of different game modes in one game mode. And it feels like this is going to sound weird. I like that they tied energy to it. I like that, like, you have to go back to it and you're working your way through the map, and I like that you can't just spam it. Like you can use crystals if you want, obviously, but I like that you have to like use your energy. It kind of feels like you're going through the Holotable again, like through the light side, dark side nodes without just
it's like a campaign.
Yeah, and I like that. It's got a good flow to it. So, what are you liking?
I agree with what you said. I like that it's like a evolving campaign.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Yeah, I like that because you 3-star each attack, like each battle, but it's not going to help you in the future. Like, I'm going to come back and farm this node for anything, because in 2 weeks it's going to vanish and be replaced. So the top thing that I like is probably the data disk.
Yeah,
They are tricky. So cool.
And like, I can't remember who it was that I was talking to. He didn't get a single 4-dot data disk in any of his little things on his map.
I hardly got any.
I think I have 2 or 3. I haven't swapped. Like, I put the first one on that I got. I have the this will tie into my favorite squad. I have I think it's called Booming Voice. It's the one where when your leader uses an ability, all of the allies assist. So my favorite squad is Vader lead Sith, and you just tap his little merciless massacre special, and it is insane. Like, half time they don't even take a turn; they're just dead. It's so much fun, but it's tricky because. So, for instance, I regularly use JTR resistance to take out nest squads. Like, I know people are like, oh, you shouldn't do that, but like, I regularly do it and I have no problem with it. That data disk, you can't take out a nest squad with JTR. You absolutely cannot do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I found her to be one of the hardest opponents in the Conquest, because also if you have the data disk that lets you reduce enemy turn meter when you hit them,
right,
you'll never take a turn.
Yeah.
So it's not like JTR, like you were mentioning. Okay, I'll just use basics so as I don't reduce her turn meter from the exposes specials. So eventually she'll take a turn, then I can just do one big hit. No, you can time out the entire 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Lose the whole battle because she never takes a turn.
Well, and I would use like JTR basic, but then everyone's assisting and proccing an expose that I'm like, oh, I'm not going anywhere here. Like, I just see her turn meter go a little bit ahead and then it just falls right back. I'm like, well.
Yeah.
So that's fun. I also really like the modifiers are different than what we're seeing in Galactic Challenges. Some of them are the same, but some
Yes.
of them are different.
Yeah, some of them are different.
And I
It
like
looked
that there
like,
can be multiple modifiers.
yes. It looked like if they already had one for a faction within the Galactic Challenges, they carried it
Mm-hmm.
over. But if it was
Yes.
somebody new, like the Ewoks or the Tuskens,
Mm-hmm.
they had to come up with something new. And each of the bosses had new ones.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. The modifier that I hated the most was probably the Galactic Republic one, where whatever damage
Yes.
you deal, they deal it right back to you.
Yes.
That was awful.
That was brutal because the stronger you are,
Yeah.
the more damage you're taking.
And so those are a couple of nodes that I have to go back to try and 3-star because they wiped me out pretty quick. I beat them, but it's like you have one guy barely hanging on at the end.
Right, right.
So
Yeah. So I love the data disk. They made
Mhm.
it much more fun and strategic because you could say, okay, this is my top faction that I like to use, or this is my team, like my Jedi,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna focus on giving them a lot of buffs. So I'm gonna make all my data disk have to do with buffs, or I'm gonna have Empire Vader team, with the
Mhm.
dots that never go away, and I'm gonna get all these data disk that when you inflict a debuff, heal 5% of their health as added damage,
Man.
and you can
Yeah.
stack them.
Yeah.
So that was a question we had last time of can you
Can you stack
use the
them?
same one multiple times? Yeah. And you can.
I really like. Did you use any of the consumables?
I did not. I did
I didn't
not
use any.
I didn't see any value in them.
I'm assuming we're gonna need them for hard.
Right. I am kind of worried. I do want to know how big
Mm-hmm.
of a power gap it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
between the two.
I want to see the rewards between normal and hard. Um, because I think even if you don't clear hard, I'm pretty sure the crates are going to be significantly better for like end game
Right.
players,
Right.
um, versus like normal.
Right. Right. Good point.
But I don't know if I want to bang my head against that wall yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for hard. I
uh,
can't wait for hard.
Yeah, and like all you have to do, as long as you've beaten all of the sectors in normal, you'll be able to do hard next time.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to beat the
So
boss. That's what they
the
specified.
boss. Yeah.
So for me, did you ever take off any of your data disk to replace them?
I only did it once, and it was when I got the 4-dot, the booming voice one. I wanted to throw it on, so I had
Yeah.
to take a card off.
Yeah.
Because I was at 10 out of 12, so I took a 2-dot off. And it cost me, I don't know if I've only done it the one time. I'm gonna have to play around with it. I don't know if it's scaled to what the dots are. It only cost me 5
Yeah.
Conquest currency.
I think it's 5 per disc you take off, no matter how.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if it was like the first one is 5, and then maybe the second time you take a disc off, it's 50, or like I have no idea.
Yeah, I
But
took
knowing
off a
that,
few times, so it's 5 each time.
it's 5 each time. Okay, so I might swap them around to finish off these feats then.
Yeah. So the ones that I used, I started off. The first one I got was the Ruthless Swiftness.
Okay.
When an enemy falls below 100% health, your allies gain 22% turn meter.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked that one, got that one a couple times. But then really saw the benefit of the deployable cooling systems,
Mm-hmm. I
where
have that one.
when you gain a buff, there's a chance your cooldowns will be reduced. So with that one, I would take Grandmaster Yoda.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
literally every turn, he could just reapply his smorgasbord of 10
because
different
he was
buffs.
cool. Because it was cooling down.
Yeah, because he's like reapplying 5 to 8 buffs.
Yeah.
And
And it's
I
per
got,
buff.
I think I had 3 of these.
And it's per buff, right? So like if
Right,
he's
per
doing
buff.
5,
Yeah.
oh man.
So it was so much fun. Everything I hoped Data Disc would be
Yeah.
by being able to just constantly use specials, never having a cooldown. It was the best.
I think they like nailed Conquest. There are a couple of glitches, like sometimes the feats don't show up on the boss nose and just like little things.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I love it. I like am regularly going in. I'm like, oh, the only other thing I don't like is that the energy refresh is the speed of Cantina energy. Because I regularly I'm going in, I'm like, I can't do anything.
I know.
And I want to. So I think I've spent probably about 150 or 200 crystals on energy refreshes. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, I think I
Uh,
used 50.
yeah. Because
Now that I have 4 days of nothing to do,
yeah.
I kind of wish I didn't.
Well, and that's what I was just gonna say. I feel like the time period is perfect. Like you'll be able to finish, at least for normal, you'll be able to finish it without having to really dive into your crystals for us. Um, for hard, if we're failing some nodes, it might be a different story. So we'll see how
The,
that goes.
the one of the things that I disliked the most that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure the rewards were very good.
Mm-hmm.
So each battle you get 10 currency.
Yeah.
That equates to if so I tried to figure out what makes the currency any good because the shop is horrible.
Yeah.
Like one character that most people have already gotten from other places. All these stim packs and consumables, and then 2 purple pieces of gear.
Mm-hmm.
So the better place to use it is probably with the scavenger nodes or whatever.
Yes. They did, and they did. I think they said that the scavenger nodes would have a better rates or better deals or whatever
Right,
the
right.
phrasing is.
But even then, they were only uh, giving out the old gear 12
Mm-hmm.
pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'll improve for hard mode.
Hard. That's what I'm thinking too. I think we'll see a difference there.
Yeah. But still, okay, so what I didn't like was that each victory you get 10 of that currency, which equates to maybe 1 gear salvage of the old gear 10 if you were going to spend
Okay.
it on that. That wasn't that bad. But then I realized once I finished it that if you've beaten a node,
Mm-hmm.
beating it a second time doesn't still give you 10 currency.
No.
So now that I've got 4 days left and I've beaten every single node, the energy
You're
is
capped.
useless. Yeah,
You're capped on currency now because you
right,
can't earn it.
right.
Hmm.
So there's no point in me even messing with the game mode anymore. What using up my energy that I gain each day.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I've already got the max reward chest, I gain
Yeah.
nothing from spending my energy.
No. Other than just like having something to do.
Yeah, that's a flaw. That's a flaw.
Yeah. Um, I feel like maybe the currency should be tied to stars, like how many key cards you get on a node.
Yeah.
I think that would make more sense. So if you only got 1 key card on a node and you go back and get 3, you should get the difference in currency there, maybe.
Yeah. I
Um, I think that would make it a little bit better.
yeah.
Because currency is the only thing that you can carry over from each conquest. Your discs and your consumables are
Right.
expiring.
Right.
So, because that was the thing. One of our guild officers, he spent his currency on like stim packs, not realizing that they weren't going to carry over. And he's like, "These are going to expire." I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and he's beaten it. So it's like you have this leftover stuff that you can't use now.
Right.
Um, so that's kind of not
Yep.
good.
Yeah, I don't like that. Give us a use
uh,
for the energy.
I have been using the currency, so like you can hoard 3,500 of it to the next run. I haven't used all of it. I've used a little bit. Um, Only when I've seen the stun guns in the Conquest store. And I'm only
Me too.
doing it because I'm gearing my first order and they all want the same freaking gear. So I'm like, well, I need these. So to me, it's worth it for that exact reason, but I don't know if I would do it otherwise. I
Yeah.
feel like I would want to hoard it, especially if I'm going to go to hard next run. I'm going to want to be able to buy stim packs and consumables and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, I'm hoarding mine too. I was buying the stun guns until I thought that maybe when I switch to hard, the store is going to change. So I ought to,
that's a good point.
yeah. So I think I ought to just wait.
That's a really good point.
So I'm definitely hoarding
Mhm.
until I get to hard mode.
I don't know if the store would change, but I could see the scavengers changing for sure.
Right, 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 right,
Yeah, like I could see those definitely having better gear in them.
right. Yeah, I
Um,
don't know yet.
Overall, though, I think it's good. I don't think they should have a gap between them. Like I know they said it's going like this
Yeah,
first
not at
month is going to
all.
be two back to back. I don't think you need a gap.
Right. Especially since we are already 4 days away having beaten it
Hmm.
with nothing to do, there shouldn't be a gap
No.
since we're already getting a break.
Hmm.
There also shouldn't be a gap because even if we're having to fight all the way to the end to try and maximize and beat everything, multiple attempts and whatnot, because it uses energy, you don't just get
Hmm.
to play it as much as you want. You still have to
Yeah, you
wait.
have to. You still have to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
totally.
not like, oh, I spent the last 3 hours completing this. It's not like Galactic Challenges where you get to just
No.
retry over and over, 2 or 3 day period.
And even when it started, like everyone started with full energy right away. I blew through that energy in like half an hour.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, okay, now I wait. Like
Yeah.
and then I ended up getting impatient like 2 hours later. I was like, I want to play now. And I just bought more energy.
Yeah,
Kept
exactly.
going. So yeah, I don't think there needs to be a gap at all.
I agree. Yeah.
Just keep churning them out. Yeah.
And then let's see. What's something else that you like?
Um, I like the modifiers. I like the discs. They did say that, so we were supposed to get in Sector 5. I don't know if you read this yet. We were supposed to get Razor Crest shards in the scavengers.
Yeah, I did see that.
Um, so they're gonna they didn't show up. I think that was a mistake. So they're gonna give everybody Razor Crest shards.
Yeah.
Um, Oh, what I do like is that you can, so what I was doing, so you can look ahead like a few nodes to kind of figure out where you want to go, see which
Yes.
discs you want to get, like all that, what path you want to take. What
Yeah.
I really liked was when I came to a fork, if the fork had the discs or the scavenger, I always took the scavenger. because you can go back, even if you don't buy anything from him right there, you can go back and buy it later.
Right.
So I was like, is going to come in really handy. I didn't know how hard, like how much I was going to struggle later on, but I was like, I could theoretically go back and buy gear, or I could go back and buy consumables or stim packs and pull from him. If I'm in like sector 4, I can go back to the dude in sector 2 and buy stuff from him and use it later on. So I thought that was a really good thing, because I wasn't sure if you would have to buy something, but you don't. You just need to commit to that path.
I always went with data disk when given the option.
Mm-hmm.
But I am curious, do you know if you bought something from a scavenger,
Mm-hmm.
is it like an unlimited supply? Like you can keep buying this one earpiece for that rate? Or does he run out? Does he just have like one of each thing?
I don't know, but I could try it right now.
Yeah, that'd be good. That way I don't have to spend my currency.
Let's try it. Let's see what I need from a scavenger here. And oh man, it's got to log me back in because I was on hot utils. Oops. Let's see what we can do. Okay. Go find a scavenger. Okay. This guy's got some gear. I'm gonna buy this armor plating because I need to craft some relics.
Because if there's only one that you can buy of each thing, that's another big flaw.
So I am in sector 1, and he's got multiples of the same gear but different quantities.
Yes, like okay, so like buy the cheapest quantity.
Yeah.
And see if he'll let you buy it again.
I'm gonna buy 5 armor whatever things because it's 60 currency. I cannot buy it again. It's great. It's got a little check mark and it's grayed out.
Well, that's even worse.
So once you buy it, it's gone.
That means you have to pick that scavenger for the path.
Mm-hmm.
And once you buy what you want to from there,
it's gone.
Yeah.
So if there's like there's so much gear in here. Like I'm still scrolling.
Yeah.
There is tons in here. And he's got stuff for crystals too. So you could use Conquest currency or crystals.
Yeah. Oh no. I have not been impressed with the scavenger and the shop that they have for this event.
I think the scavenger will be better in hard for us because we obviously need different things than I mean, normal node, you're going in and you don't need to you don't need a minimum GP to qualify for it. You can just go in. Whereas in hard, I think you have to be at least 2 or at least 4. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Like normally you don't need a minimum, but they recommend at least 2.
Right.
2 million. And then I think for hard, you need to be at least 4, and they recommended 5, I want to say. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I hope the store is better. So far, the store is not worth it. These little scavengers aren't
well,
worth
you're
it.
welcome for the science experiment.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
How do you know? I think if you use crystals in the scavenger, it's a better deal than if you did it from the store, from the regular store.
Yeah.
I think.
I
but I
think you're
haven't
right. I
actually,
think you're right.
I haven't mathed that. So if you are going to buy gear for crystals, I think it works out to be a better deal if you buy it from the scavenger versus going to like the weekly shipments or something.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
So we'll see. I think
Yeah.
I need like 34 key cards to max my rewards. Something
I
like that.
maxed mine already.
I have to do a bunch of feats still. So that's what I'm doing. But I'll get it because I did the math already. So I was like, I'll get it by getting, I think 2 or 3 more feats.
Yeah, yeah.
Pick up a couple of stars and we'll be good to go.
That was the third thing that I liked about this conquest mode is that you have overall event feats.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire time through all the sectors, you've got these 5 things you're working to accomplish. But then within each sector, it'll have feats like score 100 critical hits in this sector.
Yeah.
Gain advantage 20 times in this sector.
Mm-hmm.
And then the boss node has feats of its own.
And they've got like 3 or 4.
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's fun.
it's good because there's a lot of things that you need to be thinking about. Like if you want to be efficient, which in hard mode, you're going to want to be efficient. You're going to want to know these are the feats that I need to do in this sector. These are the feats I need to do overall. Like what's the best way to handle that? So, I mean, right now I'm just goofing around.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even thinking earlier. I had the feat where you needed to win a battle without using a tank, I think it was.
Right.
And then I was also in the sector where you needed to inflict mark 20 times. And I was not even thinking, I was putting Jedi Master Luke on my squad. And I was like, well, whatever, because I need to just get this marked feat done. Wasn't thinking that if I just took him off and subbed in a different Jedi, I would get the marked feat going and I would get the don't have any tanks in my squad going because he was the only tank I had. So I ended up doing it after, but like I was already halfway done. I was more than halfway done the marked feat. I'm like, if I had just done this from the beginning properly, then I would have been doing 2 feats at once, is my point.
Yeah.
So it's things like that, or like same idea with that marked feat. I didn't do this, but there was a fork in the road where you could have picked apparently you could have picked a Night Sister squad in that sector. And if you just mark zombie over and over and over, you'll rack up that feat pretty quickly. So it's these little things.
Yeah. How I did it was it was counting the mark that I did with Admiral Piet. Whenever I mark an ally, it was counting that.
Oh, it was counting that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense because you're doing it like.
Yeah, it was.
You're inflicting marked.
So it counted that. So then it might have been the Night Sister node as well, but I was just not ever killing the main people and just using mark over and over on my stormtrooper, whichever tank I was using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ended up doing it so that I was just doing either moves that weren't an attack or basics only so that I would not kill anyone super quickly. Yeah. So that I could get multiple marks out in a match. But yeah, I think the management of feats is going to be something to keep in mind, especially for hard mode.
Yeah.
So, but overall, I'm super impressed.
Me too. Like
territory battles is still my favorite, but this is a very close second.
Yeah, this is easily one of my top favorite game modes. Possibly the top.
More than raids?
Raids haven't had anything fresh in a long time.
That's true.
Raids, they aren't changing like this is. Now, it's not changing a ton because, if you fought a Galactic Republic team, they were always going to have that buff that
Yes.
damage you did against them was reflected back onto you. But this was like way more fun campaign version than the campaign in game.
Absolutely.
I liked how I got to choose what buffs to apply to my entire roster. So maybe more than raids. At least the most fun I've had in the last 2 years since the Sith raid.
That's fair.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
The only other thing I'm concerned about is the reward structure. Like just looking at the end of the event rewards, it's kind of good, so it's better than I expected. But 20 shards of Razor Crest, 50 finisher salvage, that's okay. But then the rest of it, like, I'm not sure it's 2 weeks worth of every day spending your energy. Because they said,
for such a long event.
Right. Because completing individual feats gives you nothing. Whether it's an entire event feat, a sector feat, a boss node feat, gives you nothing.
Yeah.
The little rewards along the way that you get is just extra credits.
Yeah, it's not anything crazy.
Yeah. None of it is gear. Like, there is no, when you're in Grand Arena, you make it to the next league, you get a pack of gear and all this other goodies. They don't have that here. That's the only thing I would like them to change. Give us actual along the way rewards. Like how you and crystals. No crystals.
Yeah, I didn't even think about crystals.
it's we work hard in territory battles, and after a week we get like 500 crystals or something. That was nothing near what you get for arena, but it's like, okay, that's fair. It's a nice supplement.
I'm kind of surprised, actually, now that you mention that, because I know that they've talked about wanting to take the focus off of arena.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like if you want to do that, then you need to put crystals elsewhere.
Exactly.
Maybe they'll be in hard mode. Although we're still to play devil's advocate, we're still in exhibition, so they could add that. Maybe they'll add that.
Which is why we need to voice our complaints now. that is
sign a petition.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, yes, I agree. There should be crystals in there, especially because, like, exactly like you said, we do territory battle. It's a week long. We get crystals at the end of it.
Or even Grand Arena.
Yeah.
Or getting to the next league, like you start in Carbonite or whatever. Then when you get to Bronzium, you get crystals. When you get to Erodium, you get crystals.
Yeah.
There's a tangible, like, oh, I want to get to Kyber. Because if I work real hard, I'll get 200 more crystals, plus all this gear. I mean, there is that for the end of this entire thing, but not 2 weeks of effort worth. And no crystals, yeah, as we mentioned.
Yeah. Man. All right, well. Anything else on Conquest?
No, I think we covered it. We talked about it quite a bit.
We did.
We well, I totally ruined it now. Oh no, okay, here we go. I was gonna make a play on the beat a dead horse sprites or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So there's a joke there, but I was gonna say we've beat the dead bantha enough.
You're
Yeah, I totally
beating a
botched
dead
that. I totally
bantha.
botched that. But whatever. Moving on.
Uh,
Moving on.
to the bantha in the room.
Yes. There are
Wait,
upcoming
yes,
changes to the
yes,
pit challenge tier. In
yeah.
classic CG fashion, they act like this is doing us a favor. This is them
Hmm.
listening to our complaints, doing something nice for us.
Hmm.
When in reality, from my perspective, that is just excuse for them to make it harder for people to complete the raid.
Hmm.
This whole post was more about this whole change was more about nerfing teams and nerfing Supreme Leader Kylo than it was at helping guilds.
Right.
But I'll briefly review it. The
Yeah,
changes being made.
because there's a lot of math involved in
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
So I already am confused on it. So you can just tell me.
So they said that with these changes, their main objective is to maintain which guilds can complete this event while removing the headache of coordinating majority of guild members over a narrow period of time.
Yay there. Yay.
Yes.
But go on.
Then they want to expand the accessibility of the challenge tier within the guilds completing it. Does that mean more guilds able to complete it?
I wonder if they're phrasing it that way because I think the big issue that I have been hearing from other guild leaders and guild officers is if you're in a guild that has a lot of global players, so you're not focused just in one or two or three time zones, it's a lot harder to coordinate because you're coordinating, people in Eastern and Pacific, but
Oh,
you're also coordinating people in the UK and you're coordinating people that are in Australia, and it's a lot more difficult.
yeah, that makes sense.
I think
That's
that's what it is. I don't think it's actually like expanding in terms of like more guilds will be able to do it. I think it's just making it easier for more people in the guild to participate.
yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that sentence makes more sense now from that
Mhm.
perspective. So they want to make it so more guild members can participate regardless of real life factors, time zone, Discord usage, or device
Yeah,
ownership. And then
airplane
third,
mode.
yeah, yeah. Third, they want to prevent Kylo Ren from soloing phases.
Yes.
Now, the changes they decided to make, the way that they got rid of having everyone need to get on at the same time,
Mhm.
because I guess they did not foresee people being smart enough to say we all need to attack on the first 20% to get rid of this phase.
Well, you can't clear it if you don't do it that way. Like you cannot clear this raid.
Right. I mean, so what did they expect? They
Like
released it intending it for to be that way.
because yeah, like if you screw it up and drop damage early, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You now have to slog through the phase and burn more teams that you can't clear the next phase.
Right. Because if you've been in a guild with attempting it and fought at 80% health, it's much harder.
Yeah.
Let alone 60% health or 40% health. Because once you think you've got it beaten, but then you don't,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like 5% left,
Mm-hmm.
there's no
That's
coming back.
why that's why I don't know if you've noticed, we don't tell anyone to post damage until we're well over the limit. And
Yeah.
it's because like you can have anything, like people lose their runs, people like the game disconnects, like anything, and then you fall short because something has happened. Um so yeah, they obviously didn't think about that.
Right. Right. So
Well, anyway, they're getting rid of that though. They're getting rid of this whole 20% scaling thing that is guild wide,
right.
raid
So
wide.
instead of
Whatever.
so it used to be that 20% health lost meant a
Mhm.
75% offense and speed gain.
Yes.
So you could go in at 80% and have everybody attacked, lose one or two characters, a night and day difference between 100% health Rancor and 80%
Mhm.
Rancor.
Mm-hmm.
They've gotten rid of that so that now every 2% within a run, the Rancor is going to increase his stats, regardless of total health of that phase.
And it's per run. So like if I'm in there and I post, you would go in after or at the same time, and my stats aren't affecting your stats.
Right. So you could go in with a 5% health Rancor and be able to attack it like normal,
Right.
as though it was 100% health.
Right.
But if you go in against a 5% health Rancor,
Mm-hmm.
within your battle, once you take down 2% of his health, he now has gained 20% offense and speed.
Okay.
So before, you're unlikely to get 20% within your entire run. So everybody in the guild working together to take down the boss within the first 20% and then all posting damage at the same time. You never saw any change in his stats.
Right. Because you never hit that 20%.
That 80% threshold, yeah.
Yeah.
But now, after just 2% damage taken off, you're going to start noticing a change.
Right.
Once you get to 4% damage taken off, you're now at a 60% total increase of his stats.
Because it adds 40%.
Right. Because every 2% is going to compound on itself so that the amount that gets increased is also increasing.
Okay.
So the first 2% is worth 20.
Yeah.
That was the increase. That 20 stays, but then when you get to 4%, the amount being increased is increased. So it's not another 20%, it's another 40% now. So you had the 20% that stayed from the first 2%. Now at 4%, you're gaining another 40% for a total of 60%. While all of that increase stays with the Rancor, by the time you make it to 6%, the amount being increased has increased again, so that it is a total of, or it's an additional 60% boost to his stats.
So he's at 120.
So he's at 120.
Aye.
So whereas before, when we all played, you could work your way up to a 20% damage run without seeing any change in the Rancor. Now, by the time you reach 6% damage done of the Rancor, it's about as though you're fighting a 60% health Rancor from before.
Right.
So if you ever went in at a 80% or 60% health Rancor,
it was awful.
He goes twice every time you go and is eating you before you've taken your second turn. That's going to happen now in the middle of your run.
Yeah. It's
when you get to here's the other thing that I keep in mind from my perspective.
Yeah.
When you get to 4%, that's when you're gonna start. It's gonna feel like it's the 80% threshold right now of Rancor.
Yeah. So if you ever had a run where you tipped over the 20%, if you did more than 20% damage, and you experienced him hitting harder,
right?
That's what it'll feel like.
If your normal run you ever got over 4%, well now you're going to experience that amped up Rancor. So
as soon as
it's very
hit
unlikely you'll get any runs over 4% anymore.
Right. which means you are going to have, and I say this because we had a Rancor last night, and I tagged a 0. And I came in 50th. It was fine.
That can't happen anymore.
That can't happen anymore. You need the whole guild. You need everyone to do at least one team, at least one 2% run every phase. So
you'll need 4 full Relic 5 teams.
Which is 20 characters per player.
And each will need to do your 2%. Because it's very hard for you to carry the weight of other players now.
Yeah. And you will need... Okay, so if every player needs at least 20 Relic 5 characters, if you're shooting for 2% from each player in each phase, you would need 1,000. I'm doing math in my brain. 1,000 Relic 5 characters in your guild minimum.
Yeah.
If you're doing the bear, like if you're dividing it evenly.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to take longer. I know we beat it pretty quick last night. The headache of coordinating at the same time and on airplane mode is gone, but now you have the headache of needing to make sure you get a absolutely amazing run, and also needing to make sure that you as a guild are saving the right squads for the right phases. For instance, you're probably going to want to hang on to your Jedi Master Luke and Rey squads for phase 4.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to want to use something else in phase 1 other than Rey or Slicker.
Yeah. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be a whole different ballgame.
It's gonna be completely different, and I feel like we're also gonna see different teams come out of this, different team comps.
We will at least see more team comps come out of it because now people can run a second team.
Right, in the same phase.
Right. So even if you've got your 20 characters, your 4 teams, you might actually be interested in 2 or 3 more comps. Just so that you can do some more runs. Yeah.
That's another like important thing to keep in mind too, is if I go into phase 1 and I run a team and I do 4% damage, so he's at 60% offense and speed, right? Yeah. If I wanted to run a second team in phase 1, it is the damage that's increasing and the speed that's increasing is per run. So if I go in with my second run, I'm starting from ground 0 again, and I can do 2% damage before I see those thresholds hit again. Yeah. Yay.
Yeah. It's we'll see.
We'll see.
It's definitely great, as you pointed out. It's definitely great that we don't all have to get on at the same time. We don't all have to hold and hate that person that keeps logging early.
Oh my god. Every time.
I know, right? But we'll see how much this harms the ability to complete the raid.
Yeah. I think if you had guilds, so this is going to do 2 things. If you were in a guild that was kind of completing it because you had the bare minimum in terms of how many slickers you needed or raise, that's not going to happen anymore. It's also probably going to eliminate any merc runs.
Right.
because it's not going to be a quick raid.
Right.
Unless you get everyone on at the same time.
Right.
Right? Like, and then you're going back to coordinating.
Right. Yep. We'll see. We'll see.
Yay. They did also say that they were going to give notice. They said they would give several days notice or a few days notice or whatever it was before they made the changes so that officers could plan appropriately. So what my suggestion is if you can plan for this, I would, if you're clearing it, this is what we're hoping to do. I would try to get as many runs in before the change happens so that you can kind of come up with a game plan and not be sitting on tickets and wasting them.
Yeah. 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 And I like that part too. Now we might be able to run it as soon as we can.
Yeah.
As
Instead of
opposed to having
sitting.
a set day we're trying to make work. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the one thing is like for us, we're capping out on our tickets because the coordination is so ridiculous. You can't figure out the coordination unless it's a set day.
Right. Right. Right.
So that's kind of a silver lining, even though it's going to be a slog. I will say, so if they are making it so that you're basically like, if you do 4%, that's going to be a great run. It's going to make the scores a lot closer. Yeah. And because it's going to be a lot flatter, the rewards should be flatter.
Yes. They mentioned nothing about changing the rewards.
I feel like they need to address that because if you're going to have everyone in your guild basically doing almost the exact same amount of damage, why is it fair that if I am in rank 50, like I should be getting something similar because I'm doing a similar amount of damage as you?
Exactly.
You just might be beating me by, a couple 100,000 points.
Right. A few percent. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely, because if you've gotten the lower end, it's trash.
I didn't do too bad last night. I got some gear 12 plus gear, like for taking rank 50. I was like, all right,
okay,
I'll take it.
Okay.
It was all stuff that I needed for relics. So I was like, straight to the jaw while you go.
Well, good. But I am definitely underwhelmed by the rewards. They aren't the Sith Raid type rewards.
No. And I think you need to make them, if you're making it this tricky to, come out on top, so to speak, as a damage dealer.
Make it Sith Raid level.
You need, and you just need to make it flat across the board.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they definitely need to improve the rewards. Yeah.
Maybe they'll address that next.
All right, that brings us to our I Love You, I Know segment.
Yeah.
Easy to get jaded by the double speak of the developers when it comes to these changes to the challenge tier of Rancor. But we all love this game because of Conquest.
Yeah. So good.
So over the past week or two of Galaxy of Heroes, what have we enjoyed?
Other than Conquest?
You can say Conquest.
I was going to say Conquest, but I actually just took my General Kenobi to Relic 8 the other day.
Big difference.
Big difference. So I am pumped about that.
I loved Conquest.
Yeah.
I loved getting to use my Imperial Troopers and my Padme specifically.
I haven't used my Padme in Conquest.
So Padme, once I started using her, she's probably the most versatile, like can beat anything they throw at you team.
I'm going to have to use her.
because
Because
her with the data disk that reduces cooldowns,
okay, yeah.
when she's giving people protection up,
Yeah, that's a
it's
buff.
reducing. Yeah, it's a buff.
Oh man.
And when you run it with C3PO, and every time you use a
Mhm.
special, you're gaining his
Translation.
translation. That's another buff.
Yeah. And
So
you gain a stack.
right.
Mm.
So running that team, every single turn, Padme's 50% heal, 50% protection up.
Mhm.
Every single turn, Anakin is AoE, give everyone protection up. So it was just special after special. Nobody could give us any debuffs. Nobody could hurt us. It was beautiful.
Maybe I'll try her for some of the feats I have to do still.
It was the
Or key
best.
cards I need to pick up.
Like that is the number one team I would suggest working on. Is a good Padme squad.
Padme's fun anyway.
She is. She is.
So
She was beautiful.
I was using Shaq clones in Conquest a lot, and that was fun too.
Yeah, I could see that being good.
Yeah.
What were there any data discs that helped with them specifically?
Not overly. Um Mine, I like I said, I left that booming voice one on. So anytime the leader did anything, which is great because for Shock, like, you know, she can use her first special, her little wristwatch ability, which is not an attack, but everyone assists. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would be fun though for gaining buffs to reduce your cooldowns because her basic is going to give everyone offense up. Rex has his tenacity up. That could be fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Or being able to reduce his cooldown of his aerial assault.
yeah. Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, I gotta try that too now. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to try that. That's what your energy for is for now. You just need to try these little tweaks.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I will say, in terms of stamina, I did not take anyone in that was less than 60%.
Ooh. Me neither. Me
Yeah.
neither. That's dangerous.
Yeah. And 60%, it was already dicey. It was already like, well, whatever. I just want to get past this node. Um, or like I was working on feats or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I was at the beginning spreading my teams around in terms of what I was using.
Yeah. 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 I really liked the stamina feature.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did well with the scaling of stats.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like that was cool. How pretty much everything, speed,
Yeah.
your offense, your potency, all of
Well,
it's going to get affected.
and I noticed it too because for a few of my teams, I could go in two or three times in a row. They'd be around 80%, I think, stamina, in between 70 and 80. And you would see them kind of like slow down or
Yeah.
take more, you would see it happen. And then you would go in if they were less than 70 and I wasn't going first anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, here's where it starts to get interesting.
Yeah. Like you lose a match and you're like, oh man, if I just did this one or two things different, I could have won. I'm going to go right back in and try again. But then the whole thing's different because you're weaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. So
yeah,
it's fun. I like it.
I did too. And it wasn't overbearing because how likely are you to, because of the energy, you're never going to even use your top teams more than a couple times in a row anyways.
Yeah.
I never ran into an issue where I wish my stamina was increasing more.
The only time I have is basically right now where I'm working on feats. And I'm using specific teams over and over and over again.
Right.
but I'll probably not have that issue next time because I'm going to pay more attention to what I'm doing. I think this time I was just so excited.
Yeah.
That I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I had 2 or 3 teams that I would cycle through and would never go below 80% probably. But because of the slow energy rate, never really had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a little slow, I will say.
Yeah. With no refresh, no
refresh.
Yeah, no boost, whatever they call it.
And no bonus. No bonus.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
No bonus energy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then let's move on to the rank and file. See if that has had any changes. Because
I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, it's been a while. So looking at it,
it's been a minute.
Looking at it, we've got Jedi Knight Revan first by a large portion, 41%.
Yeah.
And second place is Supreme Leader Kylo with 22%. Big gap.
Really?
There. Yeah. Big gap there. And in third place is Sith Eternal Emperor.
See, I feel like I'm seeing more Sith Eternal Emperors than Kylo's.
Maybe the Sith Eternal Emperors are staying around at the top more.
Versus actually hitting the first place. Yeah.
Because Kylo's, in my experience, because I've run both, you can make it to the top, but then you're going to drop fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas my Supreme Leader, what's his name? Sith Eternal Emperor, last a lot longer in the top 20 than Kylo. Because nobody wants
to avoid them.
Yeah, exactly. It's people like you, the 41% running the Jedi Knight Revan.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to switch their team and not run Jedi Knight Revan with Jedi Master Luke. Jedi Master Luke can't really do anything against Sith Eternal Emperor.
I don't even try.
Exactly. I kind of like where it's at right now. Kind of like it.
This is going to be, I'm sure you've seen this, like, I think it's happening in every shard. We're getting so many people now that are getting their first Galactic Legend that can creep into the top.
I noticed that.
So that is the one thing. I hate it. I'm like, get out of my sandbox.
Get out of here, you noob.
Yeah. That sounds so mean. But at the same time, like, I don't like it.
I know you've been working hard, being a scrappy little, I'm going to come from the bottom and rank 100 and make my way up there. But no, we're going to beat you down.
No.
There's no room for you.
I will say, though, in my Grand Arena, I've seen quite a few of my opponents that are running Galactic Legends, and they're in the hundreds. So I don't know if they just have crazy shards or what the deal is. So I'm kind of grateful for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of everyone climbing up and taking over.
Yeah. Then a quick look at the fleet meta report. I think that the large influx of Gear 8 negotiators are making people that even were Malevolence before switch to negotiator.
Right.
And so that's why we're now seeing a 64% market share of negotiator with a 32%, half the number of negotiators, or at half the rate. At half the rate, we've got Malevolence there at 32%.
So what's the other 4%? Rebels?
The other 4%, we got 2% from Home 1, 1% from Executrix, and the other 4 capital ships combined make a 1. They really need to do something with ships
They do. They really do.
because
It's so
Negotiator's
bad.
been around.
It's so bad.
When did we get light side TV? No, dark side. I think Negotiator was a dark side reward.
I can't remember if it was Negotiator first or Malevolence. I think it was Negotiator first.
Right. Because yeah.
We got Dark Side. It was when they started talking about light side territory battles, it was like spring 2019. So we would have gotten Dark Side 6 months to a year before that. Either fall of 2018 or spring of 2018, we got Dark Side TB.
So we're looking at about 2 years now that the top goal and the top meta has been negotiated.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Beyond ridiculous.
Yeah, they need to do something with ships. That's really bad. That's so bad.
That's ridiculous. They've released 2 capital ships of 0 use since then.
You don't use your first order ship?
No.
I still can't do that battle.
You can't do what battle?
Around?
You can't get the finalizer shards even?
No. Have you looked at my first order? They're so bad. I'm working on them and they're still bad.
Sarah.
I know.
Sarah.
What am I going to use them for?
Sarah. That's unacceptable. You're getting
What am I going to use them for?
You're getting so far behind in the finalizer farm.
That's fine.
Because it takes like a year to even 7-star finalizer.
Okay, but my Radis is 7-star.
I
need to.
I can't
my problem is that when I decided to go after Kylo Ren, I started gearing my first order, but I didn't think about the fact that I should gear my first order pilots first. I just started arbitrarily gearing them.
Yeah.
So yeah. The event came around and I tried it and I was like, nah, still can't do this. It's pretty bad.
To be fair, that event is harder. I can't auto it. I have to manually try hard to do it.
That's good.
Watch first order. I've got to manually. Which points to how crappy team it is. You're fighting Galactic Republic.
Refresh that.
Yeah. You're fighting Galactic Republic. They daze you. Instantly. Any benefits your capital ship and the command shuttle giving turn meter, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
All of it neutralized before the match even starts.
Man.
By the meta that's been around for 2 years. Negotiator. With the AoE days.
Yep.
Stupid.
Yep. Stupid. So, maybe they'll do something.
Last but not least, did you have any moisture farm talk to update us on?
I'm farming gear for my first order characters, and they all want stun guns and stun cuffs.
Ooh.
It's awful.
Ooh.
I hate it.
I am working on my Ray farm now.
I saw that in game. I saw that you I can't remember who it was.
Resistance Hero Finn, probably.
Probably somebody you geared up or starred, and I was like, oh, look at you go for Ray.
Yes. It's funny that a year later you and I are now going back for the
other.
Yes.
Yeah. You're gonna beat me though, because I'm taking my sweet time.
Hopefully I do. It feels very slow for me.
Oh, I'm fully just dragging my feet.
Like all the, I guess all the bank from playing for 5 years before these Galactic Legends came out has now all been spent on my first 3.
Yeah.
So
So
this
now you're
last
having
one,
to.
it's all painful. Like, how can I get the Gear 12 pieces needed for all these resistance people?
Yeah. And they all want the same stuff.
Right. How can I get the relic materials?
Yeah.
Because I now have to buy with crystals
Mm-hmm.
the very first relic scavenger part. The
The really crappy gear.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you need so much of it.
That's all I request in game, in guild, donation, whatever. I just request it.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like,
Yeah.
my number one most requested feature, let us turn higher pieces of
Let us
scavenger.
uncraft gear. I should be able like if I craft something, I should be able to scrap it apart into pieces.
Yeah. Well, so my solution that I thought of was, so the first layer is like, so the worst is the carbonite circuit board. The next one is bronzium wiring.
Yes.
Let me turn bronzium wiring into carbonite circuit board at like a 2-to-1 rate or something.
Yeah.
So that way, because for bronzium wiring, I've still got thousands of gear I can put in unused, but I'm having to spend crystals on the stupid circuit board. Whereas I would much rather spend 1,000 on bronzium wiring.
100%.
Yeah, and that should let me either replace the missing circuit board or even be worth more than the missing circuit board, since it's a higher quality piece of scavenger stuff. Crap.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
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 They also need to give us somewhere to craft gear that is not on
Yes.
tunes.
Yes.
Because that is infuriating.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need a quality of life update.
Well, I'm thinking, like, if you are a whale, where do you craft your gear for your relics?
I think they're spending.
To buy like the full piece.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think they're spending. Because that's what you have to do.
That's the only option you have.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Or they're maybe not buying gear, but they love to advertise buying these relic packs.
Yeah, buying like the relic materials.
Like, looking at it right now, they have a large Galactic Challenge relic bundle, tap for price. And
it's got a bunch of the stuff in it.
Yeah, I hope I don't accidentally make any purchases.
Don't make any purchases right now.
I'm tapping for price. It's not showing me, but this gives me a whole bunch of the junk. Zen Biddle cards, relic.
All of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Just let me craft my gear somewhere.
Yeah.
But I also want to uncraft my gear. If it's not equipped, I should be able to take it apart.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Okie dokie. Well, that was a good show. It was nice talking with you about all the new happenings. There's a lot to go over.
I know.
I think the game is thriving right now. These are good. This is good stuff.
It's in a very good spot right now. I got to give them props for that. And hopefully we don't, hate the pit raid in a few weeks.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, this game mode, big step up from CG. So,
give me more of that.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week. That ought to do it. And until next time, Chewie, we're home.